Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria, and this might be the last part, because we are just doing the Eve of London's New Age, the end epilogue. So we've done all the routes, we did the grand ending, we unlocked this epilogue, and this is where we are. So I'm going to try to get it done in one part, but we'll see what happens. The Eve of London's New Age. Maybe we'll just take it long. Chandeliers glistened in a line along the ceiling. Music which appeared to have no player rumbled into my ears. And here I stood at the center of a ballroom floor. This room extended into brilliance with no exit in sight, and its lighting was not the orange kiss of sunrise, but the harsh white glare of midday. I blinked to adjust. It was to no avail. And take care not to get lost, my lady. It's always the moment I take my eyes off you that you scamper off to the nearest crime, with all the zeal of a puppy with no lead. I rather like puppies and their boundless energy. I'm your assistant! It's only right that I assist you! I want to help you however I can! I listened to the music, to nothing else, and then voices. A sea of them, and several amongst them were ones I knew. And that dress suits you right down to the ground, Spacey. Isn't it pretty, Akichi? It's beautiful, and I see you and find myself wondering if you're the same schoolmate I've always known. And yet, it would not be so beautiful were it not worn by her. How alluring our princess is. And never have I so strongly wished to tour the world outside this hall with another. Never have I more strongly wished you'd shut up. When I opened my eyes to chance the light, there was no one. It was bodiless chatter partnered by an ever brighter sight that blurred my vision. Grown-up Watson, he's always like, man Watson. So funny. What is it, Spacey? I'm not feeling ill, I hope. I'm all right. The light's just a bit too bright for my eyes. How do you still serve as one of Her Majesty's detectives when you prance about as though you've two left feet? I suspect a common drunkard may know how to dance better than you. I may well stomp on you with these two left feet if you keep that up. I can do anything I set my mind to. She's right, Holmes. It won't hurt to admit that she's always had a gift for working till she's made her mark. Huh. I'd sooner believe she'll make a mark on the ballroom floor with all of her stamping. Well done, my lady. My friends could be heard, quite to my relief, in this unfamiliar place, before something bid their sound to fade. I strained to listen, hoped for more of their attention. The incoherent chatter of the masses married into the voices of the individuals till there was nothing more to comfort me. This is weird. Curious. Oh, wait! I wanted to follow them. I reached forward, stretching my hand. Are we asleep? Oh! 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 It's Holmes Jr. Other Junior. Good day to you, lovely lady. And who would receive it? Not a friend, not an acquaintance, no confidant I cared to have take it, but rather a man with a strange air and a smile that unsettled more than assuaged. Care to dance, my dear? There's a little point in a party like this if you aren't going to indulge a bit, is there? Who are you? Who am I? A fine question. He laughed as to provoke a rose-colored blush on my cheeks. This man pulled me into a handsome embrace and took lead with the first step. He intended to make use of me as a dancing partner, and though I was winded by the sudden invitation, there was no time to refuse him. We danced. I do not know you, and you do not know me. And to know nothing of one another is, in my opinion, the most agreeable way for us to be. And need I explain more? He smiled again, and again I was unsettled. The nerve of this man, this fellow, this beast! I turned my back to him. So you choose to look away. You, young woman, are a half-wit. The interesting thing is that is the Mycroft Holmes that we have seen in the thing. that in the intro, when the intro starts, and you know what? I forgot when I started this part. I just skipped through the intro. I just skipped over it. Fuck. Anyway, I beg your pardon. When I turned around to speak my last words, he was gone in a way that I pondered if he were ever there. In his place stood a man taller than my former dance partner. You dare provoke me by calling me a half-wit? I only called you what I saw fitting. Have I displeased you? Displeased me? That isn't the half of it. That's no way to speak to anyone. You're as vulgar as Holmes. 'Cause it's actually really funny because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be this. I remember being, I think, if I remember correctly, maybe, but like I'm just very confused, but it's okay anyway. And the same to you, for the comparison brings insult to my person. A pity that you lack manners in addition to wit. I assume you fantasize playing detective much like my cousin. It must be, for fools only seek to befriend fellow fools. Okay, see, okay, weird. So, he's supposed to be Mycroft Jr., right? Because that's Holmes's cousin, right? But the top hat guy, when we left the voice acting on, had the Mycroft Holmes voice, and I was like confused. So I wonder if he's supposed to be the same person. Because then when she turned away, he called her a half-wit, and why would somebody else care? You know what I mean? Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, I'm confused, but don't speak of our work as if it's some game. Holmes and I are doing what we must to help those in need. Spare me your sophistry. What are you doing here, then? Speak, woman. As a detective of this nation's proud queen, what have you accomplished in her service? The question, for it was too direct, pierced my heart. I had an answer. Certainly I had one, and yet it stayed within, caught beneath the point of his dagger and struggling for liberty. As the music distorted and the chandeliers above were snuffed of their grand luminescence, the ballroom floor shattered beneath me. Into this darkness I sank, falling, falling, falling. It's really weird, because I kind of assumed this was like a dream, but it's really weird for her to be dreaming of Mycroft. You know what I mean? She's never met him. I sprang upwards. My breathing was at a terrible rhythm. The reason for this I couldn't say. What was my dream about? The more I reached, the more I was left with a lingering sense of misery. Once my breathing had calmed, I left my bed and walked to the window. The cold wreathed all. I could see only one thing no matter how far off into the distance I looked. That being the dull, grey cityscape of London. That's true. Like, even if you don't remember, if you're having a bad dream or whatever, you wake up and you just have this, like, lingering, like, oh, I'm just sad. Like, why? I don't even remember what I dreamt about, but you have that lingering, like, unhappiness. It's the same thing when you have you have a great, wonderful dream and you're in a dream and you're so happy and everything is wonderful. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm depressed now. Like, dreams kind of fuck with you. Like, you're kind of better off if you don't dream, because like sometimes you wake up and you're like, I don't know what's going on. But it's like, it's when those dreams are really emotional and you wake up and you're like, either you're just really depressed. Because if it's a really happy dream, it's like really good. You wake up and you're sad because you had to wake up and you're not still in your dream. And if it's a sad dream, you wake up sad because you pulled that feeling instead of waking up, oh, thank God that was just a dream. You're like, oh man, I'm still sad. It came with me. It's kind of, maybe that's just me. I don't know. The glass, tempered by the cold outside, prickled the tips of my fingers as I grazed against it to observe the white sky. It's snowing again. They must still be in school at this hour, but here I am. As I sighed, a knock came from the door. How are you feeling, my lady? Oh, well enough, but may I be left alone for now? Of course. Just know that you have but to ask if there's anything you need. I listened as his footsteps grew quieter, then slumped beneath the sheets of my bed. My entire body was weak, heavy. My chest heaved with the clunkedness of one who had taken ill. Why did it come to this? It had been 3 months since that Christmas party spent with schoolmates. Christmas was a lovely holiday that came and went. Celebrations for the new year were much the same. As was customary, a fresh term was to greet us at Harrington Academy. I should like to have gone, What fun to see my schoolmates again. What delight that would come in discussing our holidays through excited conversation, detailing gifts and traditions, and oh, so many other things. What tidings I would learn by my eager ear. But it was not to be. Oh, girl, are you pregnant? Gotta hide. When we faced those treasures beneath the British Museum, the professor said those close to Her Majesty supported his plan. If what he said is true, then the royal family is overlooking a crime. Or worse, they may be one of its conspirators. I believe with all my heart in Her Majesty's wish to help those whose lives are thrown into turmoil by evil. Then I learn of those who use her ring to strengthen that same evil, to strengthen themselves that the likes of ourselves, of the yard, cannot touch them. Okay, it was like one fucking person. Jesus. The darkness in London is simply too great for us to set right. Oh, good God, she's being melodramatic. It's got to be that time of the month. Girl, eat some chocolate, watch some Lifetime, get the fuck over it, and go back to school. Put on your big girl panties and go. You're fine. Has everything I've done to date been part of some game? Am I so insignificant in my actions that even my proudest accomplishments are nothing in the greater sequence of events? Like that all ended and it was like, okay, yeah, you're right, I'm happy. And now she's back to being a broody bitch. Jesus. We can do this, I once urged myself, spurning trepidation. When we celebrated Christmas together, I believed this was absolution before the trepidation made to return with a vengeance. I was then tormented, overwhelmingly so, by my lack of power. I would gaze upon my ring and wonder the same thing once, twice, thrice incessantly. Depression seized me in this period. A fog would plague me, perverting my mind as my health worsened. I didn't attend school for 3 days. 3 days turned into a week. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4. The entire month. In this manner did 3 months pass. Well, now you can't go back, Jesus. It is natural for fatigue to build in this way since our move from the countryside. But I need to go to school. My lady, to attend school now would risk your health. Might you consider waiting until you've recovered fully? But I'm gonna go back to school after 3 fucking months? You got a lot of catching up to do, bitch. Pendleton showed great consideration for me during this period. He saw me as I was, a person in a state of grieving, and never questioned my inner burdens. He never added to them. Of course he didn't. He's fucking Pendleton and he's what? What's that? Fucking amazing. I know I can't remain shut in here forever. I do. I wonder what my friends must think. How do they feel upon learning of the invisible force behind those crimes? And of me, who sits here doing nothing? The time past caused my ring to dull. Its color had faded, and what a strange thing it is to see an object, an inorganic piece of jewelry, both a symbol of strength and a mere trinket, and connect to it so strongly that it felt more of a reflection of my heart than my own appearance. I cradled the ring. It did nothing to fill the hollow swelling within me. Harrington Academy carried a somber tone in its halls. There appears to be an awful cold going around at this time, quite sadly. We have a number of students who are absent because of it. A wonderful thing I believe helps is some ginger tea. And not only do I drink it to stay the common cold, but I drink it to stay the winter's cold. We've likely not seen the last of it, but be of good cheer. Spring is almost here. I hope Spacey will be back before spring. Don't waste your time fretting over others when there's work to be done at present, Watson. Holmes's eyes never once left the blackboard. Watson's shoulders drooped. You've always been one to keep to yourself, but you've gotten worse of late. You're so busy you go straight back up to the office as soon as school's done and hole yourself up. Enough. You're breaking my concentration. The students were wrapped in a certain silence that was louder than the lesson being learned, or the scratching of pen on paper. Is there, for some reason, is it just me, or because I don't know what it is about this part for some reason, and maybe it's because Mr. Mackenzie just did a rhyming fucking thing for like 2, like, stay the comical, but I like to stay the winter cold, and then he made a rhyming thing that now all of a sudden I feel like we should be like in a fucking like Charles Dickens poem or something, and I feel like we should be like reading this with like a lilt and it should rhyme and it should be like, why do I feel like this should be an old-timey rhymey thing? Like oh my god. I wish it did. That'd be fucking amazing right now. It's always so quiet now. As it ought to be during lessons. No one seems pleased with it though. If Spacey were here... It's simply back to what it was before, really, and there's no cause for alarm. And as Akechi said, that's how it ought to be. You understand that lessons and socializing are two separate things, don't you? I'm a government-sponsored exchange student. I wouldn't be here if I didn't know. To counter her claim, Kobayashi dipped his pen in his ink and began writing with rushed strokes. Before even one sentence was completed, however, he stopped. Maybe quiet wasn't the right word. A class without Spacey, Lupin, and Jack is lonely. The entire room followed. There was no more pen to paper, no more pretending silence was better, but a simultaneous confronting of the loneliness they all knew from the beginning to be present. The bell chimed, indicating the end of lessons for the day. We're leaving, Watson. Wait! Watson, why not come visit Spacey with me now? As much as I'd love to say yes, I'm afraid there's a massive pile of work waiting at the office. Is there? Well, you're just as busy as Holmes these days, aren't you? Another time, then. We have a mountain waiting for us as well, Kobayashi. There's much to be done and very little time to do it. Maybe so, but work will always be there. Wouldn't you rather visit Spacey for today? Jesus. I don't believe my answer will make a difference. Come, work is waiting. Oh, wait, Akechi, don't leave me behind. I'd best trot off after Holmes. He'll never be a man of patience. After returning to their Baker Street office, Holmes and Watson were forced to spend hours filing paperwork with no time to rest. Where's the report of the case from the other day? Sorry, I had something else to take care of, so I haven't noted them yet. Holmes furrowed his brow. I know your pace better than anyone. The report was never meant to be so time-consuming that it couldn't be done even if you had other work in your pile. I know, but I went to see Dad last night. He said he had something important to discuss with me. Watson responded in a distant, vague manner, looking to Holmes as though he wished to say more on the subject, but had too many doubts to vocalize it. Very well. Have it done tonight. He spoke with disinterest. All of his focus lay on the latest document he retrieved in their sorting venture. Did Holmes not press Watson further out of consideration? Did other matters capture him more? Watson did not know, and he could not ask. He simply sighed away the confusion. It could be said that he almost never knew which it was on these occasions. Holmes's expression when sifting through case reports was always very stern, concentrated. Watson could ask again another time, as he did this time and many times in the past, but he expected the results to be the same. Alas, the cycle would continue. You'll always be Holmes, won't you? If you have time to be looking gormless, you have time to work. Yes, I know. Holmes had been looking into a mass of old cases ever since the British Museum. These ones from the Yard's headquarters are only a part of them. The assistant supposed it would be best to go through papers than permit his mind to roam into unfavorable territory. Spellbound is waiting. Somewhere amongst those cases, buried deliberately in hopes the truth would never come to light, they wait. That was all the motivation we needed to start looking. And yet the darkness that took root in the British Empire's soil was deep-seated, and it was mighty. Neither had the bravery to put into words, but Holmes and Watson knew the same sense of powerlessness as Spacey.
Look at this place! A lawless land if I've ever seen one! I slaved away brewing my finest tea for you, and you can't be blessed to give me any space for it!
It's a mess from your perspective, but everything is in perfect order for me. Don't move anything. Thanks for the tea. I'll clear off a spot on the table for it. What did I just say, Watson? Don't mind it. I was going to have to sort this all out to begin with. Hudson slyly placed the tea on the table so as not to disturb. Thanks again, Hudson. It's just what I needed.
Pooh! You're always a wet blanket, Holmes!
He's drinking without complaint, though, so it must be to his standard.
By the way, did Spacey attend school today?
No, she was home today as well.
Oh, I know how busy you've been, but surely it wouldn't hurt to pay her a visit.
Holmes kept to his reading, fully absorbed, taking little notice of the teacup in hand, nor did he pay Hudson so much as a courteous nod in his responses.
Beg pardon, Your Majesty! I know you can hear me! You can respond!
I'm trying to work this through my head. You take care of this, Watson. Good Lord. Well, I don't think I need to speak for Holmes, but I've tried to visit a few times. Pendleton's turned me away at the door each time, sadly.
I was hoping it would be different with you. He's never once let me inside. Oh, but I shall get past him next time. I'll bake her something absolutely spectacular. Then...
Whether you can get through the front door or not hinges entirely on that butler. You may bake a cake so delicious that it would put a patissier to shame and still be turned away at the door if he chose it. Shan't hope for the best when the worst is more likely. Holmes, have you? I haven't gone to see her, no. Why would I? My time is too precious to waste on someone who refuses to leave her own home. And those who need something badly enough will simply go out into the world and get it. You can be honest, my friend. You're worried. It's all right to come out and say it. Watson shrugged his shoulders and resumed sorting.
I do miss her. Without her, it's like we've all gone our separate ways. I'm the glue. The Christmas party was so much fun with everyone. Are we never going to have anything like that again?
Please, Hudson.
I shall get out of your hair for now. Best of luck on your work.
Tidy away those cups before you go if you would. And leave it to brew twice as long next time. You're wasting the tea's fragrance like this.
You do nothing but complain! Well, bother your complaints. You do whatever you like with them!
What boys? Boys were trouble, they were. Hudson stormed out of the room. That's no good. You could have worded that very differently, you know. It was when Watson leafed through a particular set, irritation reaching a boiling point and no more shrugging or sighing left with which to express himself, that something had changed. It sounds as though we got another guest. Aren't we due for a client today? We can't invite someone here with the room this state. I'll see to them. Aren't we suddenly eager? A detective like Holmes was serious, always having his patience tested by the unserious. He was like this exactly till just moments ago, but, well, this wasn't the time. A new case may have been beyond their door, and the expectant twinkle in his eye could not be dimmed. What are you doing here? Is it Mycroft? I want to see Spacey. Less complaining and more working. Those documents are going to sort themselves. I'd be happy to, if you didn't keep bringing me new ones. I've finished the old ones. Are you sure you're putting everything where it's meant to be? Of course. Learning to read quickly is an important factor of my studies. There's no method more efficient for gathering information. See here, this one is about the war the British Empire is fighting in the Transvaal region of South Africa. I don't know why my brain was like I was imagining a G in there somewhere, and I was like, wait, that's not right. God, I can't read. Anyway, region of South Africa to wrest control from the local Boers. I don't know if that's right. Anyway, Japan is in the midst of building friendly relations with English, but we have much to learn from events such as these. We must always be aware of the politics of the world around us. I know, but I just don't have the mind for world politics when I'm more concerned with something closer to home. It's not right to leave a friend in need alone, you know. Kobayashi, are you... Before Keiichi could finish, the two heard someone knocking at their door. Oh, it seems we got a visitor. Were we due for one? No, it must be a new client. Brilliant! I might have gone mad if I had to keep sorting documents. Just a minute, I'll be right there. Kobayashi dashed to open the door without pause, ignoring Keiichi entirely, who was shaking his head in disapproval of his friend's impulsiveness. It was precisely who they were not expecting to see. Hello! I never thought I'd see you here. Who is it, Kobayashi? Wait, what brings you here? Oh my god, or it's Jack and Lupin. Oh my god, what's going on? I love this so much. I love this so much because I don't know what's going on. And if this leaves it a cliffhanger and we don't find out who went to their doors, I'm going to fucking be so mad. This is hopeless. No matter how many times I read through it, not a single word sticks. I made many attempts to read through old newspapers and case files. The more these attempts were made, the less I could concentrate. Eventually, I gave up. To try and try again made no difference. I found that staring blankly at the ceiling, my body comfortably in bed, a more productive use of time. Oh, that's serious depression. Pendleton, we need a therapist. The scream of the wind blowing lodged itself in my ears. The gale had grown strong enough to rattle the windows and give the mansion elderly creaks throughout its foundation. I wish wind like this didn't remind me of that night. Why did I have to think of it now? I lacked the health to recall their murders endlessly without adding to my grief. I lacked the passion to set the closure of my childhood nightmare when I was raised to crave it. I fell deeper into depression. To close my eyes wasn't enough. I placed my hands over my ears, pressed into them until it was uncomfortable to keep out the wind. Marple, Hudson, Kobayashi, Lupin, Jack, Akichi, Holmes, Watson, everyone. I thought of their faces. They were so recent, so vivid, and the Christmas we had was one to treasure. So why did the memory make me so unhappy? Like the lonesome period after catharsis experienced upon finishing a good book, or like a jovial story recounted by a friend before bidding them goodbye and being left behind. Yes, like these things, the memory only left me with a self-loathing that was becoming too much to bear. I kind of hope that we get like a romancy path with like fucking Mycroft, you know, even though he's kind of an asshole, but he reminds us of home, so it's perfect. Although he looked like 30, but I mean, whatever. It was nothing short of chance that separate events were beginning to unfold and collide just outside the Whitley mansion. Kichi, Kobayashi, what are you doing here?
Never mind us. Weren't you saying you had too much work to visit?
We still do, but we changed priorities. And then what a peculiar coincidence this has turned out to be. The first party was made of Holmes and Watson. The second, Akechi and Kobayashi. I think Jack and Lupin are the ones that... just guessing, I don't know. These two were faced by Marple, who had come alone.
Good evening.
Why are you here also, Marple? It's terribly late for a visit.
There wasn't any reason. It just...
Just?
Something told me that Spacey needed me. That's all.
Our good girlfriend.
So, may I ask the same for each of you? What happenstance brought all 5 of us on a midnight stroll?
Were I going on a walk, I would be doing so alone. Watson and I are here on business. It's the same for me and Kobayashi. We received an unexpectedly pertinent case from an even more unexpected source. Pendleton sent people to get them, or Pendleton showed up? Was it Pendleton that showed up at the door? He was always turning them away, and he shows up and they're like, what are you doing here? That would definitely be a, what are you doing here moment. Forgive me for gathering all of you so late. Yet the reason is substantial. I wish for you to assist me in bringing Lady Whitley out of her room. He looked up to the mansion and lamented. I would prefer to have waited till she left of her own volition, of course. My patience, however, only appears to nurture her sorrows and has given root to a deeper state of grief. I'm at a loss on what to do. He's like, I can shoot a man from like 5 miles away and like bullseye on his forehead and I can do everything, but I can't get a fucking woman out of her room. Pendleton has to have a weakness, and his weakness is he can't get a woman out of her fucking room. That's adorable. I love it. At a loss, you say? You seem very put together for someone at a loss. Although, then again, Pendleton is actually really good at everything. And it's like, oh, I'm going to have you leave it with your friends and you solved the crime. But Pendleton was following you the whole way like, okay, they're doing the right thing. Wait, but okay, no, you're good. You're good. Like, constantly just, as soon as you start to veer off, he's like just slowly nudging you back onto the road. And you're like, okay. And then I mask it well. I worry over her condition so much that I can no longer sleep. I've had to resort to drinking ginger tea every single night for my health. They're like, you're like a vampire because you look as young as you did. You know what, never mind. Small world. 4 separate parties became 5 when a new, unexpected figure charged into the scene. Her hair, a distinctly mint shade, swayed to the wind as she raced for their attention. It can only be Hudson.
If it isn't Hudson, Are you here by Pendleton's invitation as well? I noticed him at the boys' flat, so I just thought...
Oh, I thought just... So Pendleton was the one that showed up. Okay.
Lord, I swear it! And next time you try to leave me out of your plans, you'll be getting a plate of burning hot scones in your mouth!
You appear to be misunderstanding something, Hudson. We came here after receiving a job from a client. I would refuse this sort of nonsense were a favor, but it was work, so here I am.
You seem plenty happy for this nonsense to me.
He is. Simply too much for him to say yes like any normal bloke. Since we're here for work, do you have a plan in mind, Holmes? Of course. Holmes nodded firmly and looked to Pendleton. Permit me to confirm the details once more, sir. You wish for us to force Miss Whitley from the mansion by any means necessary. Is that the short of it? I cannot make it more plain. Please do. Don't fucking burn the place down. God damn it, that was going to be my fucking first choice. Watson will have to figure out a new plan. Wait, that was a terrible plan. I thought you were joking. What's your plan, Holmes? A straightforward one. I'll be calling her to us. You remember what happened the day we met her, of course, don't you? The boy detective smiled with no trace of fear. Watson was visibly shocked by this, and still moments later was wholly wondering if his perceptions were misplaced. You aren't considering... If she doesn't want to come out of her room with how things are now, then we must create a reason so she does want to. Have you prepared what I asked of you, sir? Indeed. Use as much as you like. Catnip? I'm not a cat! Catnip. Ooh, bats around the dingle balls. Moments later, a large jumbled pile of straw was set before the mansion's front. He is not gonna smoke her out! She comes running out because there's a fire. Talk about fucking PTSD, Holmes. The fuck? I'd give you a hand, but I don't have a clue what you're doing. Why all this straw? You'll see in a minute. Has the inside of the mansion been prepared then? Down to the very last detail. All the servants are outside, so only Lady Whitley remains. You have my thanks, then. Let us begin. They're gonna burn me fucking out. Oh, dear God. I was joking about setting fire! Holmes worked first to organize it into a proper bundle before setting it alight. I was joking about setting the house on fire. I mean, that's a way to get you out of your room, but...
What? What are you doing, Holmes? You can't start a fire here! Could you be...
It's not cat powder. But she ought to be drawn out all the same. The fumes were dwarfish in its first minutes. Then they rose with increasing rapidness. The smoking bundle was picked up and taken to the back in haste. Now it was time for the backside of the building to catch fire and bring their plan to action. And it was. It smoked viciously, snarled wild flame, then sank its red-hot teeth into the skin of the mansion. I'm sure they're just lighting to get smoke inside to make her think, but they're not actually lighting the fucking place on fire. That's dangerous. You're like, and we okay, so that is how we accidentally burned down the mansion and killed her. Inspector Lestrade. Sorry. Still think you're all going to jail. What is that? The smell of burning filled my nostrils. I rose up from my bed. You neglect to think that a really depressed person would be like, oh, well, maybe I'll die of smoke inhalation before the fire gets me. Could you imagine if they were like, she really is depressed. She didn't even come out. The fucking mansion burned down. I mean, we weren't expecting her to be... As I looked around, confused and not yet understanding my circumstances enough for panic, I spotted along the ceiling puffs of smoke drifting into my bedroom. It can't be... a fire? Smoke. Smoke was above me. The sight caused my body to tremble and cold sweat to form instantly. My chest caved into itself from how quickly my heart was fevered into panic. I don't understand. I need to get out of here. I willed myself to the door, much as my legs wished to give way, and clamped my hand on the door handle. No. The door was open. It was open, and smoke lunged toward me, threw me in the form of a giant black wave that spread faster than I could think. My entire field of vision was clouded by darkness, so they must be filling the place with smoke, but... Most deaths by fire are from carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon oxide poisoning? Carbon oxide poisoning? Well, yeah, same. monoxide is carbon. Well, 1 oxide, 1 O. Okay. Wow! It's really funny, though, that we call it carbon monoxide, though. Right? I'm not a scientist. I don't know these things. Like, you know what I mean? Like dioxide is like, you know what I mean? But like monoxide, so oxide and monoxide, wouldn't they be the same thing? I don't know. I really don't. But anyway, I need to get out of here before I breathe in too much. But, I mean, logically, but no. My body could no longer move. I stood near the door, blind against the swell that was erupting from the hall. It's the same as before. It was so dark and difficult to breathe then. I don't want to think about it. Please. Memories I wish could be locked away returned again with a violent resonance. The night of their deaths, the blood, the terror, the burning, the unique smell of human bodies as their flesh-cooked bones remained. Oh, well, okay. As their flesh cooked till bones remained. Okay. No! I let out a scream. I collapsed, for my legs could no longer support my weight. There I remained, staring into nothing, burning in my eyes, a rawness in my throat that may have bled, and a memory that brought my very soul to agony. I mean, this is why I said it was a bad idea. No, I'm losing it. I can't. Oh, Holmes, this was a shit idea. What's happened to me? A daze affected me profoundly. I cannot believe what I was seeing. Was it seeing? A recollection? It must have been a recollection, for to see it so directly was impossible. Then the one lying over there is... It was that night. I couldn't turn away, nor could I erase it. There it was, my childhood horror, set before me so clearly that it was more a play, and I was both lead actress and audience. Father bled severely on the floor. The hilt of a knife protruded from my mother's chest. Is that me? There was I, still a child, once ever hopeful of the future, now quivering as my fingers dug into the splintered doorframe. Now was about when Pendleton should take me away. Pendleton's the murderer. I waited. Pendleton never appeared, as I was so certain he did in the past. Hey! Stop! In a loose, automated motion, I removed my hands from the frame to approach my father. Father! Mother! I remember, I rushed to father to hold his hand. I'd forgotten it completely. Then why? How am I now remembering this so vividly? Took the smoke trauma. Though his hand was wet and warm with blood, he squeezed it over my whole tiny hand with all he could. Someone was there. I looked up, but I only caught a glimpse of them as they fled. You think it's Top Hat guy, but the weird thing is he actually Mycroft Holmes? Because that's confusing as fuck, but anyway. In their hand was the murder weapon removed from Mother. The knife, with an emblem on its heel I had never seen before, dressed in the blood of my family. That symbol, I've seen it somewhere before. A familiar voice called out to me, "My lady, we have to hurry. We need to get out of here." Pendleton arrived, lifted me, and cradled me in his arms. That moment he did so, the room was blanched by damp smoke, and flames that had crept along the room's border spread to the floor rapidly. They must have put oil down before starting it. Wait, Pendleton! It's Mother and Father! They're... Master Robert! Lady Olivia! Please! We need to run away! Pendleton! Father quite unsteadily extended his arm to Pendleton and clutched his blouse where I lay my head. Fingers, palm, the length of his arm were gored by a deep red, and more of the color still bubbled from the wound in his chest. He was short of breath. Oh, poor Pendleton! This is gonna be painful! Oh god, I don't want to read Pendleton's cry. Master Robert. Pendleton, here's my final order to you. Protect Spacey. No matter the danger, keep her safe. It was too late to save him. Pendleton, who loved them both sincerely as I did, could not articulate this to me. The anguish in his expression was that he could stay strong only by not speaking the truth aloud. So fixed was I on Father's dying words and all the red that surrounded us in fabricants of blood and fire that I could not notice just how much my mother had bled next to him. She was gone before I could say goodbye.
Mother, get up! You too, Father! We all need to run!
You need to go with Pendleton. Spacey. Maybe that... My beloved daughter. His voice became hushed. Soon we had to strain to hear him, and then his arms slumped to the floor. He did not move again. We didn't need this game! We didn't need this pain! Master Robert.
Father! Father!
Pendleton and I could no longer keep to stone expressions. We both screamed and wept unrestrainedly, nearly collapsing and holding each other with a vicious grip as the fire spread and the bodies of our loved ones lay. There was little time for this display. Pendleton collected himself well for my sake. Maybe Pendleton was in love with her dad, not her mom. I'm just saying. Covered my mouth with his handkerchief, then, still holding me with anxious care, rushed to the exit. No sooner had we escaped the mansion did it become completely engulfed in flames. I mean, you were in a burning room. How are you not dead already? The fire brigade arrived when? In a rush, I'm sure, though many points there remained indistinct, to put out the fire. They quelled it in time, but the smell of burning lingered. My home and all that defined my years was now rubble, black wood and bones. This home was not only mine, but Pendleton's, who stared into the debris. He could not be read by his young eyes or by the stiff way he held me, but his lips gave him away. There was an anger in the way he bit down, an anger he prayed he could keep locked away. Master Robert, Lady Olivia, why did this have to happen? He failed. When the anger was too much, he fell to his knees and struck the ground. The last thing I saw in this vision of the past was me, curled against my fragile savior's chest, unconscious. Were I any more slow, I'd be dead as you are now. Tonight, I declare my deathbed the same as yours. I stand here having already lost my life once. I can no longer fear death as a dead man. I shall never forget the kindness you two have shown me. Master Robert, I'll keep my promise and obey your final order. God, now we need... Oh my God, is the next game going to tell us the secrets of Pendleton? Because I fucking need to know this. I just want to play as Pendleton. Can we just be Pendleton? I want to know the secrets of Pendleton. We have to have a fucking path where we learn all the secrets of Pendleton. Can we just fucking romance Pendleton in the next one? Jesus Christ. If there was anything that they had to learn from this one is like, Pendleton is so fucking amazing and everybody wants him. Yes, please let us have the man. That would be the last thing we do. I'd be like, I don't care. That's the last path we do because that is my happy path. Like, anyway. I know, man harem. Nope, Pendleton path. Look, the man harem is great as long as Pendleton's there. If we have to choose one, Pendleton. I'll protect her. Even should death come for me again, I will protect her. Father, Mother. I awakened from my dream. My chest was sore, no doubt from inhaling the amount of smoke I did. I coughed, and coughed. Lights were flickering all around me, so much so that to open my eyes was an impossible task. The only sound was my own labored breathing. What? Oh, was that a dream? It hurts. I can't move. Am I gonna die here? Murdered? Here? No! I don't want that. I haven't done anything. I haven't solved anything yet. I don't want to die. Please save me. Anyone, help me. I begged quietly. Again, I begged. It was the same cry repeated so many times I lost count, till I shouted as loudly as the painful texture of my throat would permit. My arm stretched upwards as far as it could go. And then someone seized my hand. It's so warm. The stranger held my hand with an adamant grip, as if to say they would never leave me. I believed it. At last, the fear drained from me so that I could rest. The hungry lick who circled my body was not to be sated on this day. I don't know what that is. Whack! A popping sensation crossed my cheek. A hard caress? A poke? A smack? What could that have been? If it's a thwack, it's a smack. I opened my eyes. Get how goddamn fucking... Okay, Holmes is like, proud of myself. Burn the mansion down. But seriously, did he literally burn the mansion down? That's the worst fucking idea ever. That's my house, you son of a bitch. I can't file an insurance claim because friends tried to prevent me from dying. My friends didn't want me to be depressed, so they burned my house down and almost killed me. Did you just see the look on someone's face when you tell them that? They're like, maybe get new friends. But, like, look at fucking Pendleton and all his goddamn glorious beauty. Can you just... Wow.
Ah, you're awake! Thank God for that. You slept an awfully long time, dear.
What is this?
You're like nothing I've ever seen, Spacey. You charged straight out of the fire without so much as a scream. And to see you upon wakening is a great comfort to her, I'm sure.
They were here to welcome me. All familiar faces. The very faces I wished to see in that exact moment. I'm glad you're well. I was beginning to worry.
For God's sake, are you insane, Holmes?
I give my all to my work. If I'm going to do something, I'd best do it in the most efficient manner possible. He did set the fucking mansion on fire.
Oh my God, Holmes, you're a fucking sociopath.
I admit, I may have miscalculated the amount of smoke produced, but that is a minor quibble. How could you miscalculate? Wait, was the mansion's fire?
You must forgive me, my lady. This was a request on my part to your friends. The fire, quite specifically, was Holmes's idea. It was a drastic proposal, but upon giving it thought, it seemed the best way to go about it.
I see. You're fired. I hate you all. Oh my God. I had a dream, Pendleton. A dream of what happened the last time there was a fire. No, to call it just a dream is silly. I remembered what happened more clearly than ever. My lady. It was brief, and its bearer was swift in their escape, but I could describe parts of the emblem on the knife. How did I ever forget such an important piece of evidence? Work was still being done to put out the fire. Smoke poured from windows, and other such small openings and flames, though relatively tame, still lived. He did light the mansion on fire! It wasn't just like, okay, we'll smoke and get some smoke in there, and I mean, there's gonna be some smoke damage, but whatever. It's like literally like, I'm gonna light the house on fucking fire, and she'll come out, and Pendleton's like, sounds like a good idea. The fuck, Pendleton? The fuck? I love you, but the fuck? All this done to force me to come outside. The shock was too much, and yet too much shock gave me a sense of no shock at all. You know what would have been a good idea? We can't convince... You know what? Wait. Holmes is like, we should burn the mansion down. You know what? Before that, why don't we kick the fucking door down and drag her ass out? Slap her across the face and be like, snap out of it, bitch! Sure, this gave her memories of, like, what happened in the fire. Or you could have, like, lit something on fire and this, like, brushed some smoke, so she rushed out. Ah! And then she would, like, she would have, like, passed out, like, fallen, she would have smacked into somebody, knocked herself unconscious, and then this all would have happened anyway, and the house wouldn't have been on fucking fire. Is all I'm saying. This could have been... Oh! Holmes, you're supposed to be a fucking genius. This is the dumbest fucking thing anyone has ever thought of. Oh, dear God. Well, I should think that wraps up our case. I'll be expecting you to bring a check to our office promptly.
A check? You couldn't wait before demanding money? You don't have an ounce of nicety in you! She's just woken up! Have a heart!
To see Miss Whitley's charming expression of bewilderment is a reward in and of itself. If only this weren't business.
For someone so ordinarily frank, you love to be roundabout when it suits you.
A spark of sorts returned to me when I heard my friends speak. It had been so long. Something I hadn't understood until I learned what was lost, since I heard their voices. Holmes? What? Thank you. It's because of you that I remembered something very important. You're an odd girl to express gratitude to someone for setting fire to your mansion. Sorry. I couldn't read it in a straight face because it's legit. Sorry. You're an odd girl to express gratitude to someone for setting fire to your mansion. Something was now clear to me. Wait, who was the one who saved me from the mansion? Someone took my hand when I was surrounded by the smoke. Oh, that was...
My lady! A Pendleton!
It's probably Pendleton.
And the fire near the back is being fanned by the wind! All of you need to move somewhere safer!
Well, that would be Holmes's fault since he set the fire. All I did was answer to my client's passion to the best of my abilities. Holmes was faced by a party of pointed stares from every direction. Well deserved, I might add. I did agree to it being done by any means necessary, I suppose. Holmes is not solely the one to blame. Rather, I'm quite pleased. And the mansion in this condition makes it impossible for my lady to keep herself locked within a room for the time being. Pendleton smiled as well as a man struck with a bout of irritation by his own doing could. Thank you, with all of my heart. Something about coming outside again has made me understand that I have much to do, and I know exactly what I need to do next. This has got to be the best fucking, like... I can't even fucking believe this. The fire never overwhelmed the property. Before anything was lost, it had been conquered, and what could have been a terrible, vastly known telling of the Whitley Mansion in London's southwest was reduced to a little-known fact for the day for gossiping enthusiasts. It did, however, cause a portion of the mansion's walls to change color. Several days later, Holmes was called to a chalk-colored mansion near Charing Cross Station, sorry. So you're the one who called for me. Make it quick, for I've become a busy man these days. And I'm more busy than you. Your detective work is child's play, whilst what I do is of real importance. This is Mycroft. Yes, see, this is the thing! When they introduce Mycroft, this is what I've been waiting for, like this CG. And then speak before your precious minutes are wasted, Mycroft. I've no wish to disturb such a promising man. Oh, I shall. I make it a point of keeping discussions with imbeciles brief. I fucking love this. I cannot fucking wait if there's a second game for this bitch fest. It'll be amazing. Like, Holmes is already fucking at it with his goddamn dad. Now you gotta bring fucking Mycroft Jr. in, and then you gotta have Mycroft Sr. pop in. Oh, dear God! It's a Holmes tussle. There's 4 of them now. Literary gods are smiling at me. I love Sherlock Holmes. I've told you this before. Anyway. Have I heard correctly that you intend to take part in the Boer War, Harlock? I don't know what the Boer War is. Boer? And if you have... And then you've grown so bored with your life that you now permit the country to run your life for you? How pitiable you are. Surely you know why England is so fixated on a colony in the south like the Transvaal. I know very well, in fact. From where I see it, the war isn't going to benefit our people whatsoever. It's purely an opportunity for the Empire to show its power to the world, a squandering of money and lives so that those who govern our nation can satisfy their vanity. And then what compels you to take part? To see to it that my own naivety is corrected, I suppose. And to train myself to face a certain organization upon my return. You fool. If that's all you want out of it, then you ought to come work under me. Should you accept, and you'll find yourself working in the intelligence services, which protects the country more than that asinine war. I'd prefer to go out in the field. To sit in a room all day playing chess would be the very definition of boredom to me. Huh. A particular way of putting it. Have you forgotten that I was the one who taught you how to reason in the first place? God, I love this so fucking much. So I have. If you have nothing more to say, then I shall be off. But there is one more thing. The reason I prefer to go out in the field is so that I don't have to spend my time with you, using logic as an excuse to cower behind the scenes. He then retired, closing the door behind him with a forced bang. Dear, dear, like father, like son, both so obsessed with themselves that they would choose the beaten path so long as they could keep their freedom. And yet he says he wishes to correct his naivete. Oh, Harlock, if only you knew the ignorance you've displayed by defying me. deep beneath London stood a number of small, iron-barred cells lighted by candles. There was but one cell which dared to make noise, and from this one cell was one sound, one ceaseless, irritating sound between stifled cries. He was restrained from top to bottom by iron chains, reduced to a repulsive sight of skin more blue and bloody than pale. A whip met him at all hours, rattling him till he was both in pain and numb at once. He could not speak of the difference. Oh no, poor Jack! Oh God, we need to rescue it! Do you know the money we put into letting you attend Harrington? All for you to tumble into some fondness for the people there. Did you forget your debts, you traitor? We're finding out what's happening to everybody. All of Jack's years learning to bear pain without making a sound were little help here. He cried with each crack of the whip, and on the whip he saw his blood, fresh from whippings, perhaps layered over dried blood from some other victim in this place. He grit his teeth and endured. It'd be a damn shame for our investment to be for naught. Know that your days won't end here, but you won't be returning to that academy as you are now. The only place you belong is with us. Only with us. Only to do our bidding as you've been made to do. There's no heavenly life to be sought, and this punishment will continue till you learn to stop searching. It's only by your luck that we wish for you to live, but whether you'll one day be dumped into the sewage is not for your will to decide. Hear me, Jack? You're but one of many pawns for Spellbound. Never forget it. The blood ached as it dripped from his open wounds. Salt from sweat stung in a way he never thought possible. The pain was too much, far too unbearable. His bones must have cracked or been exposed in some places. Shallow breaths lasted him, but this was painful as well, and to make the conscious effort of breathing pushed him to his limits. Got what I deserved. I was a sodden idiot to give him a hand. It was one cell with one ceaseless crackling that was awful to all within earshot, and its victim fought desperately to keep silent to no avail. And in this one cell so full of abuse could he still find one thing to heal him. The detectives. Their kindness had won him completely, and she, in particular, was a treasure. This hurts me so much. This hurts so fucking bad. Guess I won't be seeing her again for a while. Spacey. A cold swept him. This cold and pain mixed to dominate what little hope he strained to keep. His memory grew hazy, hazier. Soon, against his struggling, there was nothing at all. Oh, God. This is basically what happened to everybody. So I think we're going to keep going, and we'll just see. Hopefully this isn't like a 2-hour-long part. If it is, I'll cut it, and then we start here afresh. But anyway. I'm still quite fond of London's air of sophistication. But they do say there truly is nothing like home now, don't they? Home was Montmartre. Is it Montmartre? I don't know. Anyway, 340 kilometers south of the foggy city of London. Sitting in the corner of a bustling cafe at dusk was Lupin. The thief exhaled as one would to relax. This is the same place we saw the other guy, Top Hat McGee, who somehow has the voice that is Mycroft and could actually be Mycroft, and that's really fucking amazing, and I love it. Oh, what I miss more than London, however, is you, dearest Spacey. It breaks my heart to have parted, but alas, I made an enemy of not just Professor Moriarty, but the organization as a whole. I cannot chance to stay, knowing the danger you would be forced to bear. My life as a student was a good one, but I'm a knight who is princess before a boy hitting the books. But we love the boy hitting the books. He was the best one. Awkward Lupin is my favorite. Although Jack hurts me the most, his whole path, and that whipping thing is like, oh my God. It got me to the point where I was like, oh, I could, if they keep making me read this, I might actually get a little like choked up. Like, hey, it's a pizzeria. Awesome. Although with that distressing butler she has with her, I'm sure I have nothing to worry about. My job is now to simply enjoy the bohemian lifestyle here in Paris. Really? But I should say it's a bit too soon for that. He was addressed very suddenly from behind. The seat behind him creaked, and there he was met with a strange fellow whom he did not recognize. But you know the interesting thing, though? I actually seriously don't think when the voice acting was on for Mycroft, he was talking. But there still is an Edward Moriarty who I think he's more close to be, because it can't be like Mycroft in like a wig and a hat, because Mycroft had a mole on his face like you would see, right? So I think that the voice acting, the lines might have gotten messed up. Or Mycroft is actually Moriarty and Moriarty is actually Mycroft, and holy shit, there's some crazy shit going on. So it's really hard to tell with the voice acting, because when so it could have been tagged wrong in the thing. I don't know, but anyway. And you are. Who am I? Yes, yes. A common question upon meetings, but I've an inkling you may already know. I haven't a clue. Oh, don't say that. I don't very much like that answer and would prefer another. France has been too kind to bestow upon us this meeting a mere year after beginning my studies abroad. Or as one here might put it... Whatever, he's saying something about an agreeable surprise in French. I'm not reading that. Anyway, truly the pleasure is mine. Fate always has a way of bringing two people in need together, and indeed, she has today worked wonders for us. She more plays the trickster with me. I prefer to meet with works of beauty, and here she brings me a suspicious man. Oh, do you doubt my character? I believe it's common for Parisians to converse with strangers. And believe me when I say that I am no enemy of yours, just so you're aware. Whether you're friend or foe is for me to decide. You know, you look like the sort who could bring a woman to her knees with a wink and a whistle, but you'd sooner turn tail and run upon the first hello, wouldn't you? And then perhaps I set you a good example. You look like a child desperate for attention. Do I? We've only just met and you know me so well. Shall we be as two birds, then? I can't return to London quite yet, the same as you. The moment I thought boredom was going to be the death of me, I find you. We ought to be friends, chumming about and doing as good friends do. I ship this. I'm okay with this. Come, I shall treat you to something nice. Do you like chocolate? This cafe's I don't know what that is. Oh, chocolate. I don't know what the thing is. Anyway, is liable to drive me to orgasm one of these days. Well, that just happened. Lewd! Damn it! I think not. Big Ben sang his song loud enough for all of London to listen. Like, you got to the end and you're like, well! Pendleton, in the dimly lighted shower room of the Whitley mansion, first removed his tie. Then, oh, dear God. Okay, so we had that line, and now we're getting... all my dreams are coming true. All dreams do come true! Okay, I'm sorry. I need to stop right... Okay, anyway. Removed his tie, then his jacket, blouse, trousers, and all till he was fully undressed. And please, dear God, we have a lot of CG. I think we have time for another one. Master Robert, Lady Olivia, am I doing the right thing? Oh, sweet Jesus. Oh, good God. The room was furnished with a rain bath, which he stepped into. He turned the spigot to be welcomed by an immediate warmth from above. I mean... Is it necessary? No. Am I really, really, really kind of happy? I don't know. Oh, God. I can't breathe right now. And when he rested his hand against the wall and closed his eyes, the better to focus, his many insecurities he kept locked up were permitted to seep through wet skin. To allow her to stay in this city exposes her to danger. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. I know, it's just a hand on a shower wall, but it's Pendleton, and my imagination is just... Oh, dear God. Sweet Jesus. I'm gonna fall off. I should probably just sit on the floor before I fall off my bouncy ball. Finding a nobleman in Edinburgh or Paris might bring her the most happiness in time. Standing by her choices and wishing for her happiness is my duty. But how can the path she's chosen to take end in anything other than grief? I don't wish to see her as she was again. What if something causes her to go beyond a breaking point, beyond repair? I have effectively died once. I'm set in how I shall use what I have now. Why then must I feel so anxious? Pendleton hung his head. Oh dear God. The water was warm, and still he felt terribly cold. I gotta tell you something. I think my heart stopped because I was like, for fuck's sake. I'm not kidding. I'm almost disappointed. Okay, there's a part of me that's glad we didn't get a CG because I might have died. But I'm also extremely disappointed that we didn't, because that was such a fucking tease. They knew what they were doing with that one. Ugh! They knew. They knew when they wrote this whole game. They're like, everyone's going to love Pendleton and everyone's going to want Pendleton. So we're going to throw this in at the end just to fuck with you. Oh, God, it worked. Jesus. God. I mean, again, I'm really glad because I don't know how I would have reacted if we had a Pendleton CG, but I'm really disappointed because we kind of needed one. It's kind of like that Van Helsing one in Code Realize at the end where you're like, oh, dear God, the lewd. But I'm so happy we have it. Anyway, a week had passed since the fire. Contrary to then, the day was now brilliant and clear. My home had been restored to its original splendor in this short time. To the perspective of those who never witnessed the night's dramatics, it was as beautiful as it had always been, and so they could remain in blissful unknowing of events I would forever keep in mind. I was grateful to those who stood with me as I fought my childhood demons. There was guilt, too, for entangling them in a battle that was solely mine, but that they cared enough to leap into the fray was enough for me. My inner courtyard was now, for their partaking, furnished with a table covered in food prepared by Pendleton. Could he still be in the shower and can we just like bust in? Oh no! And then like I'm just saying, a little bit of Pendleton butt cheek is all I'm asking for, right? Just even like just Pendleton shoulders in the shower. Oh dear God! I mean, the wet hand is enough for me to be like, I don't think I can handle this. My imagination is enough for me to not be able to handle this. Anyway. It was very gracious of you to invite us here today, Miss Whitley. I'm pleased to see your color has Deuce! Look at this food! Spacey, can we eat all of this? That was not his voice. Kobayashi, that is no way to greet your host. It's charming in its own way. Please, have your fill.
Look, Spacey! I brought some of my baked goods with me. I'm thrilled with how they've come out, too. I hope you'll try them.
Oh my! You baked so many scones and biscuits. You really shouldn't have, Hudson. This is quite a party. A shame Lupin and Jack couldn't join. Oh, because Jack is being beaten. We're having a good time and he's being almost murdered. Oh, it certainly is. I wish one of us knew how to get in touch with them. What does it matter if they couldn't come? Lupin would have broken the plates and Jack would have been so quiet that you would sooner mistake him for one of the pillars in the garden. But that's the fun of dorky Lupin! We need nerdy Lupin here! Oh, baby, miss him so much. I may be mad to ask it again, but is using polite language truly so hard for you? I have no idea what you mean. And now if I may speak, Miss Whitley. By all means, Holmes. I take it the reason we're here is because we have business worth discussing. Holmes's expression was a wondrous one, with a strength greater than any I had seen from him before. He was more than confident in a logical sense, but confident in himself. He believed with all of his heart that his chosen path was true. Yes, very much so. After last week, I've begun to think more readily about what I must do. I spoke deliberately, ever conscious of the eyes around the room focusing on me, and I could look back to each of them and know that I would turn away from the truth no longer. I'd no longer close my eyes and pretend it wasn't there. I'll be taking a leave of absence from the academy. My world has grown so much there since I was given that recommendation. I have no regrets attending on behalf of Her Majesty, for I can never learn what I have otherwise, nor would I have met any of you. With growth comes a change in perception. I feel I can no longer go as I am now, attending lessons with a careless smile, carrying on as though I've never seen how ugly the world can be. I can, I suppose, but what good is change if I don't change more? I'd waste it and be powerless doing nothing, and that solves nothing. There was freedom in this notion, this wanting, and certainly I had wants from that night, Jesus. The prospect of death that night had been merciful to me. I could see my desires replenished utterly by the symbol on that knife, a clue I could not put a price on. The luck I had to recall it. The symbol cut a path for me. No matter the danger, this path was clear for me to walk. And walk I would till I had what I wanted in my grasp.
Then how do you plan to keep this up?
These are things, there are things worth studying that can't be found in our daily lessons. I want to study more practical things seriously, do more critical thinking, gain new strength. Not just as a detective. I want to learn self-defense properly and how to use a gun. Pendleton's agreed to teach me. I really almost hope that in the second game they're a little bit older, like how Watson is like adult Watson. I want it to be like a couple years later or something. Like,
Indeed. I shall be as dutiful in the matter as I strive to be in all things.
oh my god. Yeah, but you could have been a little more dutiful in a fucking shower CG is all I'm saying. What? You wanted it too. Just imagine it. It's probably more glorious in your it'll never be more glorious in your imagination than it would be in real life. I'm just saying.
It sounds as though your future's made up. You'll face anything that may come.
Well then, there's something I like to say too, since we're all here. We're not all here. Jack's being beaten and abused, and poor dorky Lupin's not here. We knew that like Lupin wouldn't be here, but like awkward Lupin could be here. Anyway.
I'll be taking a leave of absence also. My dad's taking part in the war in Afghanistan as a military doctor, and I'll be going to assist him.
Oh my god, this is gonna be like the greatest second game, because it's gonna be like everyone coming back together after like time apart. And maybe we'll all look grown up like Watson does right now.
I've been conflicted till now, if I'm honest. But hearing you, Spacey, makes me want to gain that same strength. I agree with you. That isn't something we can find whiling away our days in a classroom.
Watson spoke with equal clarity to me and Holmes, like a man who was lifted upon expressing a decision that had weighed him down for too long.
I've not mentioned this to you at all. Sorry, Holmes. You've been so busy that I didn't know how to bring it up.
I had a vague idea regardless. You've been perusing the international pages of the paper with great interest recently. I merely said nothing about it because, well, I'm in a similar position. Not abroad, too. Indeed, I'll be taking part in the Boer War with my father. Boer War? I don't know what it is anyway. As a soldier, however, I don't feel as though I know enough of the world to do battle against that organization with confidence. The sound of artillery fire rattling off at all hours should do the trick. Here's the only person who's like, you know, to take down a shadowy organization, I should go and put myself in the middle of a war. Front lines! Can I be? Hi, I volunteer for front lines? Okay, cool. Like, most people don't. Okay. Holmes, wow.
Don't know what I expected you to be doing, but wasn't either of those. You're both going to be taking part in war?
This is all very sudden, though I hear the Empire has all but claimed its dominance in the Boer War. And there's hope in you going as a doctor, Watson. And you'll be saving lives rather than taking them. And the danger is still present, but you won't be on the front lines. I doubt there will ever be such a thing as being safe on a battlefield. And not that either of you would at least listen even if we tried to stop you. And they won't die, so it'll be fine. Could you imagine if they did a second game and they're like, no, Holmes and Watson are dead. So, anyway, we're moving on. And you'd be like, no! That would be a bad ending. They'll have bad endings in that where they die.
Oh, what a funny thing this gathering has turned out to be.
I was considering time off as well. I really hope this isn't going to be like fucking Edo Blossoms where all your friends are dead. Like, oh, we're going down the Marble path. All our other friends are dead. We went down the Watson path. All our other friends are... I'm not going to be able to handle a game like that, so happy fucking endings, okay?
I wanted to go back to St. Mary Mead and continue my studies there. And see to it that my reasoning and observation skills as a detective are put to use in an independent setting, and learn more about tea and cakes too, naturally. God, if all you leave London, Akechi and I will be up to our eyes in cases.
Remember, we came to English to learn things we couldn't in our homeland. Each of us has different ways of learning, and even different places to learn from. But we mustn't take this as having found our place. Our studies between now and their return will be crucial to our own growth.
I like the way you think. But don't do any more than you do now, please. I don't know if I can handle it.
The room was inspired. It was full of hope, full of wanting, with glittering eyes and smiles that refused to leave us. Except for Hudson, who faced the ground and thinned her lips as she bit down. She's sad everyone's leaving her. Hudson?
I was happy beyond words when you finally came out of your room. But now we're all going our separate ways.
Hudson is our soul right now. Hudson is our heart. This is how I actually feel like, but I don't I mean, I know this could lead to a second game and then we'll all get back together, but it kind of hurts before that, before the coming back together. It's the parting. So Hudson is our feelings.
I thought this was our time to be together again, and then all this happens. I don't know how much more I can cry.
I wrapped my arms around those tiny shoulders that shook. At last she could speak. Cry away your sorrows. We're all coming back for game 2. Why, it'll be shorter time than you realize that we'll be away, growing stronger and wiser. Then we'll all come back to you. This is literally the fucking game. Like, we're coming back to you. It's okay. It's comforting us. We are Hudson and it's comforting us.
Really?
Really, I promise, a shorter time. So, like, soon? This is the only time we have to do things we want. Any more time spent pondering over it, and the time we could have studied and learnt will have blown off with the wind. We can't face Spellbound the way we should were we to do that.
So it's all the best for your futures, then?
The very best. So I don't want you to try and look for work as anyone else's assistant when I'm not here, because you're the only one I'll ever need. Hudson slovenly wiped away her tears.
Of course! I would never dream of leaving you.
The theme song is playing in the background.
I shall do loads of studying, too! And I'll become the greatest assistant this country has ever seen! No, the world! The world's #1 assistant, leaving Watson and Kobayashi in the dust!
What? You will?
She's a fast learner, boys, and very smart. She might do so in less time than you think.
With that settled, then, I'll make the rest short. Holmes cleared his throat with a quick ahem, whilst he acknowledged each of us one by one. The background music is the theme song. Like, you've earned a trophy. Oh. 2 years. We'll absorb all we can in these places we've chosen. I'll meet again in 2 years. So she's like, what, 7? She'll be 18 or 19. So they have to draw them a little bit older. They have to. God, look at Akechi. He is like goddamn gorgeous in this.
2. TW. But we'll have graduated by then.
It simply means we'll have to focus our studies on something that can't be learned in school, as the others will be doing.
Like what?
I can think of quite a few things. Western martial arts, swordsmanship, and tactics are of interest to me. All I know for certain is that we won't be returning to Japan anytime soon. Holmes, I don't want to find news of you finding a new assistant after I'm gone. You hear me? I would never, Watson. I'll wait till you've fallen on the battlefield to find a more capable assistant than you. And then you won't have to hear even a word of it. Don't say it when it could really happen! I'm very curious to see how much each of you will have changed in 2 years' time. They'll be older, and like fucking Pendleton will look the same, and they'll be like, they'll have it. I want this to have like ending chapters or something where we're all old, oh Holmes, we've grown old together, and Pendleton still looks the same, and you're like, wait. As am I. I can't wait for us to meet again and to make more priceless memories. I wonder if they mean 2 years, because like that's gonna, like literally in 2 years it'll come out. Brilliant, unforgettable memories that will strengthen us for years to come. Birds flocked to the sky upon the ringing of a bell in the distance. The early afternoon sun shined its light down upon our weary shoulders to give us strength. Indeed, it would not be long before spring revisited London. This has got to be the end. Because we know it. And so their world blossoms anew. Happily ever after? That's bullshit. It's not happily ever after. Several years pass. The capital of Fog remains rife with curious happenings. This is definitely hinting at another one. Okay. Oh, this is going too fast. I hope you can read that. Oh, I love it. It went too fast, so I was going to try to read it for you, but hopefully you could see it, or you're going to have to pause and go back. I could barely read that. Oh my God, I love that. To be continued. That's beautiful, and it'll come back 2 years' time. I love that. That's great. So, all of our CGs are these. Well, this was our Was that the one that we ended on? No, we did the Christmas one. So this is going to have to be our end one. But we'll look at these. So I don't know if he's supposed to be Edward Moriarty. You know what I mean? Because he's got like a mole. So there's no way that this could... But he had the voice lines in the thing. When I turned Mycroft off, he wasn't saying anything. And when I turned Mycroft back on, he was. So they could have had the names wrong in the thing. You know what I mean? Because I was like, wait a minute. That's not at all what I was expecting. So they could just have the names wrong in the thing. You know what I mean? Like had them flipped. Or there is something we do not know. Look at Pendleton, he's so glorious. I needed a Pendleton's shower CG, but good God. Yeah, because this one's in the beginning, and they do like the names, and they do like Mycroft Holmes and the voice actor, and you're like, but Mycroft never played a part in it because of that. So I think he's supposed to be Edward Moriarty, and I think they just got the things mixed up. But let me tell you something. When I turned the voice acting on, and it came up that he was Mycroft, I was like, I'm blown away. That's not what I expected. What the fuck? I'm not saying I don't ship this, though. Like, yeah, you guys go have fun orgasming over your chocolate. Although this would be a really pretty one to end it on. Like, everyone, we're going to come back. Oh, because it's, like, perfect. It's the last CG. But one, Pendleton's not there. Jack's not there. Lupin's not there. There you go. Our boys aren't here. We can't do it if all of us aren't fucking here. So yeah, we're going to end it on this one. This was really good. I mean, just everything about this. The writing, everything. I mean, yes, she's a little derpy, but she was pretty good. And I'm really excited for a second one. Hopefully, we'll all be a little more grown up and maybe our eyes won't be so derpy and goofy and we'll get a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, it would be nice instead of looking exactly the same because, honestly, she did creep me out a lot with her eyeballs. I kind of tried to ignore it, but, you know, they always make the MC look doopy. And, like, like, even Hudson didn't look as derpy as we did. And she's, like, the lolly girl, you know what I mean? But, anyway. Yeah, I just love this. Look at them all. Oh, they're precious boys. They're all in their, like, we're all in our wedding attire. So we can get, like, wedding pads. Because you know the next one will be a continuation of this story, but I'm really hoping they have little side branches of, like, the continuation of the stories of when you actually dated them. Because that's usually what they do. And you're like, okay, so the main game is the continuation of this, you know, that we just did. They come back after 2 years, blah, 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 blah. But then they have the little, like, side stories where you're like, oh, little epilogue that's just like an hour or so about the continuation of, let's just say we're on Holmes's path or Watson's path. You know, they 5 little side things. So kind of hope we get that. But it'll be really fun because we'll get to go down the romancy paths again. And hopefully we get a Pendleton one. You know what? I wouldn't complain if we got a romancy path for all of our boys and we still got a romancy, like can we have a Mycroft romancy path and a Moriarty path? If that's who Top Hat is, which I'm pretty sure that's who Top Hat is, that'd be fucking great. Like, yeah, and a Pendleton one. I don't care, bring it on. All the boys, add the boys. That'd be so fucking great. So fucking great. Anyway. So yeah, I will see you guys around in other things. I'm not 100% sure what's coming up after this. But yeah, so I have a couple of choices, but I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. So you'll find out. But anyway, I will see you guys around in other things. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.